come into life to experience certain specific kinds of things. Not certain specific things, but certain specific kinds of things, so that you understand a problem that has been set up for you, by you, before birth. The reason for birth. In form. So there is a bent. Once you straighten out the bend, it doesn't exist anymore. And it only existed in the world of illusion anyway. This is the world of illusion.
You have to participate in that.
Now, it's going to depend on what you mean by participate. See, the whole crux is to understand the nature of this thing. And the nature of this thing is the same. It doesn't matter whether you're working out a problem about communications, sexuality, or whatever. It all comes down to exactly what we just talked about. Disentangling. Because when you disentangle, one of the things that you find is all those things that you were looking for are a natural force within your being. Love is a natural force. From love comes justice, truth, wisdom. All these things come from love.
Aggression. Aggression.
Aggression, yes. Aggression comes from love. What I would say is what you have to understand is what you would mean by all those things.
Yeah, I want to say violence, but I don't want to belittle that term.
Well,
you
still are. You're looking at one of the most aggressive human beings you ever meet right in front of you right now. So you still are.
That's the point I was making. But what is that saying about me? Is it me calling it violence? Saying something
I
about
think,
me
more than anything else, there is natural aggression. Natural aggression. Aggression is a force that causes birth, it causes movement in all things. The problem, the aggressive person and the violent person, thank you, the difference is in how they have been treated and how they respond to what has happened to them. What it is that they distort natural aggression to become violent. So the natural framework is there. And you sense the aggression. Everyone can sense the aggression. It's what makes things happen. The violence is the misunderstanding of the natural aggression. I tell you a story the other day. I was in the steam room and talking to a man that I've known for a number of years. Well, it turns out that he knew someone that I had studied Tai Chi with years ago. And he mentioned him, and I said, "Oh, you know him?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Have you seen him?" He said, "No, he's in prison." In Florida. He, during the time when I was with him, I think he had beaten up 6 cops or something. And he got through that. But he's now been in prison for the last 3 years for beating up 24 24 people
At the same time?
at the same time. That was a gang fight. He was the gang. Okay. This is natural aggression honed into a skill. Okay. 24 people. Now you think about the odds on that and you say, well, 24-1. Seems that if I were the judge, I would have another kind of picture. But I didn't see what the 24 people looked like either. So who's to say who was the aggressor? I haven't heard stories of him walking into dojos and locking the door and just jumping on everybody. It depends upon how you view your own life. That helps you funnel that unending source of energy into 24 people being beaten up, or sitting here talking to you like this, or so your being with those people, your response is only going to be utilized, or your response to those things from your past will only be utilized by who you are, not by who they are. You see, if you don't have to become a wild man beating up people, you can understand what's going on and transfer that into something else, that aggressive energy into something else, into the lifting of your spirit or whatever it is you want. But you can learn how to use it by associating with violent people. You can decide. See, it's not so much. It's what you decide to do with it. That's the issue. Do you choose to make it plus your goal or minus your goal? Only when you see it clearly and cleanly, like you would see water in a waterfall, only when you see it can you then direct it the way you want to go. Until then, that whatever that thing is, whatever that anger or hostility or whatever that is, that directs your aggression, directs you. So, you can be with them, you cannot be with them. The issue is the same. How do you make a choice about you and who you want to be, how you want it to go? What is your goal? The issue is never them. It's always you. And I say the issue is never them. If you choose to be as they are, you chose. The issue was still you. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Either here, same. Makes sense?
Because my trouble with it was I have an opinion about violence. And from, being around friends and, I have an opinion about violence.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have an opinion about violence, or do you have an opinion about idiocy?
I don't know.
I think what your opinion may be more about the processes of the people. Do you see what I'm saying? Right there, we can call that violent, right there. Where's the violence? It's not some deep Chinese philosophical statement I'm making. I'm talking about a simple principle of physics. Okay? The violence happens because something happens here. Is that good or bad? I don't know. It all depends upon, and that's in the person. So is your judgment about this or about their choices? It's a question you should ponder. Ponder this, grasshopper. Oh, what a day. Wonderful. More questions?
I have a question. Something you just mentioned, it brought something back that occurred. I was working here, and I decided I had gotten, and I was there, I was in that space, and I was able to let go of this. And I decided that I wanted to turn around and look and see what was behind me. And I turned around and I looked, and the light was so wow. That,
Yeah.
and this goes back to something you had said, that thing that I call this, that thing that makes all that noise over here, was so small I couldn't even see it.
Right, right. That light is naturally what is there.
I always get into these spaces where things happen, and I need to ask another question. And I don't, it's like the question is not, there's no deep root of a question. I haven't found it yet. That causes something to happen.
That's what I was saying earlier in the lecture about you have to begin to do things differently, so you begin to set up a different thought process. So that you set up a process where you really question the validity of, quote, reality. That's why, I remember an exercise I gave some time ago. First thing you do when you get up in the morning, do something different than you've always done, or do things differently than you've always done. If you get up in the morning, put your left shoe on first. You've been doing that for the last 20 years. Get up tomorrow morning, put your right shoe on first. Instead of going and peeing, go brush your teeth, then pee. Okay? Or if you can wait that long. I'm getting old. I don't know if I can wait that long anymore. I got to get up and go. Anyway, begin to break old habits. You're setting up a different pathway. And that will enable you to ask a different question. The question hasn't occurred to you yet. That's all. Because you are asking the question from the point of view of what you have always assumed truth and reality to be. And that's the problem, the assumption of truth and reality. So when you start to do things differently, perhaps you will, one day that question will occur. That question that explodes everything.